there and welcome to Knit and Grace. My name is Mia and today I have another Mia Makes for you, which will be my fall knitting plans. I'm also going to quickly review my summer knitting projects that I did. Really quickly, there wasn't a lot of knitting that happened this summer because my husband and I actually moved in June, so it was a very slow knitting summer for me, but I did get a few projects in, mostly test knits, or actually all of them were, no, 3 were test knits. 1 was finishing up a project from the spring, and I just have my notes here, which is why I was looking down. But the first project that I finished in the summer was my first test knit of the summer, which was the Amaz tee for Nicolina of Pacific Knot Co. And that is a fun cropped tee that I'll put here for you to see. And I love the construction because it actually is reversible. So you can either have a high scoop neck on it, or you can turn it around and have the V-neck showing in front. And that was a really great little pattern, quick summer knit, and I knit it up in some reclaimed yarn, which is no longer available, but it is the Lana Grossa 365 cotton, and in this beautiful green colorway. And so I had this partially knitted in my stash for a very long time, and I just never got around to finishing the project, so I decided to reclaim the yarn. And I still do have quite a bit of it, so I am going to try to figure out what to do with the rest of the yarn. I think I have 3 full balls, and then I have probably like another 150 grams caked up after I reclaimed that, which is really fun. If you've never reclaimed yarn, you know, you sort of pull it apart, you make it into a big hank, you wash it, you dry it, and then you ball it back up, and it's really great. The yarn just bounces back good as new. So that was my first project of the summer. My second project of the summer was the Bobby Pullover, and unfortunately I still don't have a full a picture of me wearing it completely. I'll insert the picture that I have here, and it's just a really cute, another summer top. I made it in Bernat softy cotton, and I don't think I mentioned this one is by Gabriella Treminio, and I love Gabriella's designs. Actually, I'm also wearing another Gabriella design. This was the Maya top that I test knit for her. So I test knit the Bobby Pullover, and actually, let me actually go get it so I can show you what it looks like in person. So I went and got the pullover, and it's just this super cute cropped bobble tee. And so it has, I like the way that she did the bobbles because they really pop without looking like wonky. And it's just, trying to remember the construction. Oh, this one's really cool construction because you actually start with a provisional cast on, and then you knit down the front, and then you pick up and knit down the back, and then you join the 2 in the round. So this is seamless, which is really cool. And then you pick up your neckband and your armhole band. So that was my second knit of the summer, and it was also a test knit. In terms of the details for all of my patterns, or all of my makes, I should say, obviously I will include the patterns below. And then, you know, if Ravelry is accessible to you, you'll also be able to visit to my profile in the link below, so you can see my yarn details. If not, just shoot me a message and I would be more than happy to provide you with my yarn information. But the third pattern that I tested, the third and last pattern that I tested for the summer, was the High Desert Yoke, which, if you followed me on Instagram, has pretty much been on a steady rotation since I got it off my needles. I think it's the perfect transitional piece because it is, or I knit mine in a short sleeve. And I think I think Gudrun Johnston is the designer. I think she does have a long sleeve version available as well. Like the pattern, you can knit short or long sleeves. I knit the short sleeves. And so it's a perfect transitional piece because even though it is wool, it is a fine wool. Or a fingering weight, so it's, you know, that fine gauge, so it's not super heavy, so it's like perfect for these transitional days where, you know, it's a little cooler but it can still get warm midday. So I've been wearing that quite a bit, and I knit that one. The main color was I think butternut from Barocco's Ultra Wool Fine line, and then I had initially planned to use all Barocco yarns, but when I saw the colors, they were a little too bright for what I was going for, so I actually ended up going stash diving at the very last minute, and I used some Farmer's Daughters for my colors, and then my two neutrals I use Knit Picks palette that I happen to have in my stash. So again, all the details will be in my Ravelry projects page, so you can check out the yarns that I use there. So that one was a fun piece. And then the last piece that I finished for the summer, which really was mostly finished, it was a spring project, was the Seabeck, which I spoke about in my last video. And that one I knit in Barocco Arno in Wisteria, if I remember correctly. And the original cardigan calls for a Pima cotton that they have, but I find Pima cotton to be very heavy, and I wanted something that was a little bit lightweight and really perfect for 3 seasons. So it's still good for those summer nights when it's still cool, and then of course it's perfect for spring and fall. Because I did start this cardigan in the spring, it is more of a spring color for me. If you've noticed my recent makes, they've all been in more of that neutral fall color palette. But this one was a really fun make as well. And so that one had mostly been finished, and I really literally just had to do the button bands and set in the sleeves. And I had just been languishing forever, and I finally finished it in September. So that was my last summer make. In terms of my fall plans, this video has been in the making for a while, but unfortunately there's construction in the apartment next door, which is just apartment life. So I am filming this video super early in the morning. Unfortunately, it's also a cloudy, rainy day, if you can see from the window behind me. So I have actually finished 2 of my fall makes. And the first one was a test knit for Jacqueline C. Slack called the Bay Slipover, which actually by the time that this video is out, the pattern will have been released. It's going to be released Friday, so this video is going to go live on Sunday. It'll have been released 2 days ago, and so you can definitely go check that out. And I knit the pattern in Woolfolk Far in color 27, which is their gold color. And I really, really love the way that this turned out. It's just an oversized slip over. You can slip over, button down, a turtleneck, which is usually how I wear my slipovers, or you can just pair it on its own. And it's just so comfortable. I'm so happy with the yarn that I used. It's so squishy and soft. And we just got news that we won't be going into the office anytime soon. So I was thinking about wearing it in the office, especially when it gets cold and you need something to layer, which would be perfect for that. So once we are back in the office, this will be a perfect item for that. And then my next one that I finished, also a pattern by Jackie C. Slack, is the Ursina. And so if you watch my very first video, and sort of the conception of this channel is I was thinking about making this perfect fall outfit out of her Wolfwork dress and the Ursina. And so I did finish the Ursina this past weekend. We went apple picking, and I cast off the second sleeve while we were driving up. And so I still have to block it, so I don't have pictures of that. But I did knit that in Stonehenge Fiber Bale Shepherd's Wool Worsted in their Roast Pumpkin colorway. So you can go back to my first video and check out pictures of that yarn, or video of that yarn if you would like. So then my main, I have 2 test knits for the fall that are going on. The base Slipover was a very short test knit, so it was kind of a transitional. It was in September, so I didn't really, I guess technically it is a fall, but I have 2 active test knits going on right now, which will be my only ones because I do have quite a bit of gift knitting for Christmas, which is like crazy to think that I think it's only like 12 or 10 or 12 weeks away, but so I have 2 tests for myself, and then I have a few projects that are going to be Christmas knits. So that is going to be what I will be making for the fall. So the first one, and I don't think I grabbed any yarn for it, it's called Lupinus. It's by Jules Coco, and this was a test that was put out on Yarn Pond, and I applied. So this was actually also my first time using Yarn Pond, which has been a really cool experience so far. I've been liking it so far, and it is a colorwork yoked long sleeve pullover. And it uses 3 colors. It's in a sport weight. I decided to use Cascade 220 Superwash, which is technically a sport weight. The Superwash is not the regular Cascade 220. It is a little bit of a thicker yarn, so I would actually probably classify it more as a DK, at least the way that I knit. I'm not a super tight knitter, but I was able to get gauge on it, and I had ordered the yarn, and I wanted to make sure that I started the project. So far I'm making it work, although I'm gonna see how the yoke blooms out. So I'm excited to see that. I'm almost done with the yoke. And hopefully I'll be able to post some pictures to Instagram soon of that yoke, and then move on to just the stockinette body of the body and the sleeves. And so I am knitting that up in 3 different colors, and I will have the information in my Ravelry page as well, just because I realized I didn't grab the yarn, so I apologize for that. But the second test that I am knitting on is the Amara Pullover for Rachel of Rachel Knits Things. And I saw her post this pullover, and I was just like, I have to get in that test. I was so obsessed the second that I saw her post the pullover, and I was just like, I have to get in it. And so I actually even turned on notifications for her Instagram posts so that I would know when she posted the tester call, and immediately I signed up. And then I was like refreshing my email for like 2 days, and then I got the email that I was chosen, and I was like so excited. So when I saw this pattern, and I was already kind of looking, when she put out the tester call, I kind of was looking up different yarn options, and there was yarn support for the Pearl Silver Tussock, which I think it's Tussock that she used, and I was almost going to click and buy it, but I just like, something about the colorways was just like not exactly perfect for what I was looking for. And so then I remember that my friend Margot of 1010 Studio, who actually also works for Barocco, had started knitting the September sweater, and I am completely blanking on who designed the September sweater, so I'll put in their name below, but she was also knitting the September sweater, which is also a brioche sweater, and she was also with Mohair Held Triple, and she was using Barocco Ariel. So I went on the Web's website to look up the Ariel colors, and there definitely was a much bigger selection, and so I decided to go with that. And luckily, because of the Web's discount, I was actually able to get the Ariel and the yarn for another project, which is going to be a gift for Christmas for our aunt, for the same price. So, you know, because I have a lot of knits coming up, sometimes with the test knitting projects, I'm like, go for it. I spend a lot of money. I don't really care. I just want what I want. And then other times, depending on what I have going on, I'm gonna try to save a little bit of money, especially because I have some Christmas knits, and then I also, we're going to Rhinebeck. So at this point, by the end of the season, I'm gonna have so much yarn. It's gonna be crazy, but at least the yarn that I have now and that I've bought recently all has had purposes and has been knit up or will be knit up. So it's not gonna be stashed for sure. But that long ramble to say that I'm going to be making it in Barocco Ariel, held triple. And I have my notes here that are going everywhere, so I'll just put them to the side here. But this is the yarn, and it's I chose, their color is 3433, so they number their colors, but it's also called copper. They also do name them, but on the tag itself, they only put the number, which is 3433. And again, it's just a mohair. So this is a mohair silk. It is 6535, and it's just like has this beautiful sheen, and like I'm just really excited. If you guys have been watching my videos lately, you know that a lot of things that I'm knitting are in the golds and the oranges, definitely very fall theme. So I have got engaged on this project, and I am planning on casting on as soon as I finish the color work on my Lupinus, so that I can then have the two projects. The other thing is I have like my two big project bags that are kind of free right now, and so I needed to finish the Ursina to be able to put this one in the sweater size project bag, so that also played into it. But on that note, the same order that I placed from Webs was for Barocco Providence, and I have this basket where I put all of my yarn in recently. And so this is going to be for a gift for our aunt. So the color here is 1132, and I don't remember the name of the color, but this is a DK weight, and I just love it because it's like it's like that tweedy, so it has pinks and purples and greens and blues and whites in here. So I'm really excited to see how this knits up in the project that I'm planning for it, which is the Triangular Triangles wrap by Pearl Soho, which is a free pattern. So I'm really excited. When I saw that pattern, I thought I definitely need to knit it up. It's a really cool looking pattern. And so I picked up this Providence, and this is a 65 merino wool, 20% baby alpaca, and 15% silk. And I mean, it's just so soft. And it's my first time working with this yarn of theirs. It's also my first time working with Ariel. And I had, part of the reason why I had gotten this too is because I had been in the back of my mind wanting to make one of their pullovers, which I'm blanking on the name right now, but I'll insert the name down here, and it uses actually Providence and Ariel held together. So I wanted to sort of check out the yarns and see how they feel, and especially the scratchiness factor, because sometimes when things have alpaca in them, sometimes it can be a little scratchy for me, but this feels good, so I wanted to sort of feel what it feels like, and so I can knit that project up as well. So it was a little bit of a selfish reason why I got this particular yarn, and that was my big Webs order, or my second big Webs order, because my first one was actually for the yarn for the Lupinus, and then for the other two shawls that I'm going to be making, one for myself, so this is sort of going to be my Christmas gift to myself, and they were having a closeout sale on all of their Cloudborn yarns, which I'd never knit with Cloudborn before. And so I got Merino Alpaca Sport, and the color's called Camel Heather. It's just like this beautiful, just neutral color, and it's like so soft. And And so the content here is, let me see, it is 80% merino, 20% alpaca. And so I got enough of this to make the Veltigarth wrap, I think it's called, yeah, Veltigarth. And that's by Gudrun Johnston, and that was my free pattern that I ended up choosing from her test knit. She did give us access to a free pattern. So I'm really excited to knit that up for myself. I love wrapping myself up in shawls, not only just in this weather, but also in the office when it's really cold. I like to have like really big shawls so that I can kind of like use them blanket style when I'm in the office and not like styling them. And then the second project, or the second shawl that I had gotten yarn for in this particular order, but it'll be my third shawl that I'm making in the fall, is, and I'm looking up the name, is the Tulsi shawl by Layla Raven. And so this is one of her patterns that she made accessible for free after, you know, all of the Quince drama and, you know, things that were going on with not releasing her patterns and things like that. So, you know, if you don't know, you can sort of go back and read more about that. It was definitely an unfortunate situation, and I'm glad that the knitting community came behind her. But she did release a number of wraps for free, you know, based on donation for that she had previously designed using Quince yarn. So, you know, I made a donation, I got the ebook, and then I am planning on making this one for my mom. And so I got, this is the Cloudborn Highland worsted semi-solid. So it is a tonal, and this is the color Moonlight. So it's a little bit of a silvery gray, which is really nice. And it just feels, it definitely feels a little bit rustic. It is just a 100% fine Highland wool. It's not superwash. But it does feel just super warm and squishy. So I'm going to be making this for my mom. I had made her a top earlier in the year, so I was like, no big projects for you. So I'm gonna make her a shawl. And then the last project that I have is actually a secret project, but I can show you the yarn that I got for it. And this will be my first time using this yarn as well. This is Knit Picks Swish, which I think is only in DK weight, but correct me if I'm wrong. And so this is in Garnet Heather, which, I mean, this color is beautiful. It is so like you would think, like for a how do I say, just for, you know, your sort of basic low price point yarn. I mean, they really hit it out of the park with regard to their pricing and the yarns that they have. But this is my first time knitting with Swish, and it's so soft already, I can tell. It is a merino wool. It is machine washable. Yeah, it is machine washable, but I mean, it's so beautiful. And so this is going to be a secret project that I'm knitting up as a Christmas gift. So those are my fall knitting plans. Definitely ramping up now that it's the fall. It's cooler, it's sweater weather. And sorry I haven't finished my coffee today since I'm filming this first thing in the morning. But definitely ramping up after having a really slow summer, for me to only have finished 3 projects in the summer. And while I did technically finish Seabeck, I don't count that as being finished in the summer since I really only had to do the button band. So really only having 3 projects in one season is very rare for me. So I'm really excited to constantly have something on my needles. We have a few road trips coming up. We're going to Providence. When you see this video, we will be in Providence for the weekend, just taking a long weekend. We will be heading up to Rhinebeck with some friends, and just really excited to enjoy the fall. I've been knitting a lot outside on my patio with just, you know, blankets and things. I'm thinking about getting a fire pit back there. So just really exciting, good time to sit down and knit. So I hope that you enjoyed spending some time with me this morning and that you enjoyed me walking through my fall knitting plans, and I will see you next time. Bye.